I was supposed to have a guest here today. Oh, there
Can you
he
hear me?
I was making fun of you because you weren't on the
Can you
screen.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's because my thing was peeling off the wall. My cat was scratching at it, so
Well, we're live, so you're telling everybody that your thing was peeling off the wall.
it's fake in case nobody has noticed. These are not my books, but yeah, this is my study.
These are not my books. These are not the droids you're looking for. Hi everyone, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. We're doing our oh my gosh, I need my notes. Where are my notes? I just jumped over from oh my goodness, where are my notes? I just jumped over from our live magic Q&A, which was so sweet and delightful. But let me find my notes for tonight. It's me, Madame Pamita, with my wonderful friend and colleague and amazing magical practitioner, Onareo. Oh my gosh, you're the best.
You were making fun of me, and look, you see,
I know.
I know. Karma.
Okay, I've got my script now. Welcome to the Magical Mystery Marketplace. The Magical Mystery Marketplace takes place every Sunday, except for the first Sunday of the month, because we do a workshop on the first Sunday of the month at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's right after the Live Magic Q&A Tea Party and streams over Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Join us for this weekly get-together that's a little bit of a fun, magical hangout. We get to hang out with you. We ask you questions about your practice, and you type into the chat, and we talk about it. It's amazing. It's a little bit of that and a little bit of spell school. We're going to talk about magic, and in this case, we're going to be talking about ancestor magic. And it's a whole lot of witchy QVC. Who wouldn't love a whole channel of witchy QVC? We should have 24/7 witchy QVC. Well, we do our best. We have an hour to an hour and a half here. Each week, I bring on a special co-host from the Parlour of Wonders, one of the wonderful witches at the Parlour of Wonders, and we pick a special topic, and then we feature some of the amazing products we have at the Parlour of Wonders and show you how to use them in your own magical practice. Every week, it's a surprise as to what the spotlight items are going to be. And for everyone watching, there is a flash sale on the featured products. You'll not only have fun, hang out with us. Come on, we're fun witches. You'll save money too. This week, our topic is ancestor magic. Perfect for this time of year. Ancestor magic. We're thinking about the ancestors. It's Halloween coming. Of course, we're thinking about our ancestors. And your discount code is at the ticker at the bottom of the screen. If you use the code FAMILYTREE, all one word, no spaces, you will get 15% off of any of the spotlighted items now until October 10th. But don't wait till October 10th to buy. If you purchase any of these spotlighted items during the live stream, you are eligible for a giveaway that we have at the end. We're going to be giving away one of the spotlighted items to one lucky person, and we do it each and every week. We do a little giveaway for the people who buy during the live stream. If you are a member of the Coven, and if you're not a member of the Coven, what are you even doing with your life if you're not a member of my Coven? If you're a member of the Coven at the Good Witch level or higher, you get an additional discount. You get a special coupon code over on the coven.vip page. And you also get an additional entry into the giveaway if you purchase during the live stream. Just check your email or go to my Patreon page, coven.vip, and you'll see your own special discount code there. And if you want to find out how to be a member of my Coven, because what are you doing with your life if you're not in the Coven, go to coven.vip. Now, here is a little secret that I'm going to share. These coupons work not only for the things that we're spotlighting, but they work on everything in our ancestor magic category. That means all the books, all the tools, all the candles, and more, all of it in that category. So if you go to Parlour of Wonders, shop, and then go to Ancestor Magic, you'll see the category. It's got 15 different things. We're not going to be showing all 15. So if you want some of those things too, you will still get the discount on those. Make sure to subscribe to Madame Pamita on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Subscribe to me. And then click the notifications bell so you get notified when we go live. You'll get a little thing, show up on your screen. Oh, the live is happening. And then you'll be able to join us so you won't miss any of these. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my friend, my guest, my right hand at the Parlour of Wonders, Onareo.
And
Onareo.
you're left.
And you're
left.
also
I'm
my
kidding.
punching bag.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, definitely. Which
So
will be available in a book later.
I know he's always threatening. He's always listen. Should I tell my joke? He's always threatening he's going to write a tell-all book about the Parlour of Wonders and how evil and horrible I am. And I said, well, first you got to write a book. So
Yeah, that's true.
he is so okay. I will say this about Onareo. He's so flippin' knowledgeable about so many different traditions in magic, not only his own traditions, but other traditions. He's an avid reader, just a wealth of knowledge about magic. And so having you on anything is a treat because you bring so many things. And what's my thing that I always say? Oh, you're the brains in this organization because he is so smart.
Brains of
And
the
so,
operation. Yeah, that's good.
yes. So
Pinky
you
and
have been
brain.
so Onareo has been doing magic since you were a teenager, right? I mean, you were even writing a book back then. Again, where's your book? But all right. Here, write your own story. See, I'm even
Listen, mine
subliminally
says
telling you.
my horoscope said this would happen.
So Onareo has been practicing magic for decades, super knowledgeable, very knowledgeable about lots and lots and lots of different magical practices, but especially I would say you're quite knowledgeable about ATRs, African traditional religions, Caribbean spiritual paths, traditional folk magic of the Caribbean, because you come from the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. So you have all that Boricua, what is it? Boricua?
Boricua.
I can't say.
Boricua.
Boricua
Okay.
energy you bring to the table. So, what do you chose Ancestors. So let's talk about Ancestors for a second.
Yes.
What is your
yeah. No, go ahead. What is your question?
Tell me about how you use Ancestors in your magic.
So, and I mean, not to correct what you just said, but like I work with the ancestors, like, and I think I like making that definition for anybody that watches, and I know you do the same. It's more about is that your cat?
Yeah, but she's making the noise like she has a mouse, but luckily she doesn't have anything. So she's just talking.
That's the ancestral calling.
Mambo Glinda.
So I work with the ancestors, right? And just for people to kind of like get the idea of when working with any type of spirit, you try to work with them, basically not use them, right? Because it's kind of like a respectful relationship, right? And also going into a relationship with an ancestor or with any type of spirit, for that matter, it's really a mutual thing, right? You gotta create, or kind of like you could call it courting, create that rapport. And if there's no rapport, then you wouldn't work with that particular ancestor, obviously. So there are many ways that you can incorporate your ancestors, but to me, the most basic one would be a daily prayer or a daily acknowledgement, for their help, for their assistance, for connection. So I do that every single day.
Yeah, same. I got an ancestor altar. So yeah, I made a little misspeaking when I said
and I know you practice.
Yeah.
It's like a common thing we say, but I just
Yeah, how do we incorporate? I should have said, how do we incorporate the ancestors in our magic? So absolutely, we don't use them. They're not our servants. They're there to help and support us. They love us and they care about us, and we collaborate with them. It's a collaboration, not a demand.
And I will say, now that we're real quick, is that some people have that perspective of using spirits, and that is also certain traditions use spirits in the way where it's through submission and through other things that I'm not a fan of those. So just like
same. All right, well, let's talk about some of the ancestor things. We're going to talk more about ancestors and ancestors' work as we get into some of these things, and we're going to go very deep. And you guys get to participate. We're going to be asking you questions, and you can type into the chat or you can type into the comments section on this feed wherever you are, and it will show up, and we'll put those up on the screen and talk to you guys about those. So, okay. So first, talking about these products, we're going to talk about the products that we're going to be featuring. So I'm going to go on the list very quickly, and then we're going to dive deeply into each one. So if you add any of these products to your cart at Parlour of Wonders, you can just go to Parlour of Wonders and you go to shop and then Ancestor Magic, like we said, or you can use the QR codes that are up on the screen to add these. You can use your phone to get to them if you're using your phone, and then you can add these. So if you're on a computer, you can use your phone to just take a picture and it'll take you straight to that thing, and then you can add it on your phone. So this week, the featured items, I didn't even take them out of the box, so I've got to reach over here. The first one is going to be, we're going to talk about, is this life-size ceramic skull. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, let me pull it over here closer so I can find things. We've got also one of our featured items is this skull cast iron incense burner. Super cute. Lots of skull action. We're going to talk about why skulls. What are the skulls about? What do they have to do with ancestors? A beautiful book by my wonderful friend Phoenix LaFay, and it's an amazing book about not only connecting to ancestors, but connecting to all kinds of different spirits in the spirit realm, fae folk, ancestors, other kinds of spirits, places of power, all kinds of things. So it's a beautiful book on all kinds of positive spirit contact in lots of ways. And I love this book. Also, we have Tropilian Slavic goddess. Boy, this is a long thing. Tropilian Slavic goddess idol magnet that we're going to be featuring and talking about. We're going to talk about this super cute Day of the Dead felt skull charm pillow made in Peru. The most adorable thing ever. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Cutest skull ever, I think. With sparkly eyes. Oh my gosh. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our Motunka spirit doll making kit. These are Motunki, this one here and this one here. So we're going to talk about that tradition and working with the ancestors with Motunki. Then we're going to talk about the handmade Tropilian Slavic goddess statue. She comes on her little throne. I have to put her down there. There we go. And we're going to talk about horn altar offering bowls. Got 3 of them here. And the beeswax ancestor candle, ancestor spirit candle. And we're going to talk about a freebie that we can give you, which I'll leave to the end. We'll talk about that at the end. A free thing that everyone can get for absolutely $0. All right, so let's first talk about our ceramic skull. So the question I have for you guys who are watching is, what ways do you use skulls in your ancestor practice? Do you use skulls in your ancestor practice? And how do you use skulls in your ancestor practice? What ways do you use skulls in your ancestor practice? All right, so let me talk a little bit about this, and then I'm going to ask you, Chris, the same question. So connect with your ancestors. You can create a devotional altar to Santa Muerte or Baba Yaga, or just add extra witchy vibe to your space with this beautiful life-size, I mean, come on, that's almost like the size of my head, life-size ceramic skull. Skull images are used to connect to our ancestors or for devotion to goddesses like Santa Muerte or Baba Yaga. This life-size ceramic skull with its matte black finish will add a seriously cool vibe to your altar. The bottom, super feature here, the bottom of the ceramic skull has 2 holes, which can be used for adding petitions, herbs, personal concerns. You can add things to this skull. You can light tapers candles around or on top of the skull for your ancestor or goddess devotion. I think that's something that's super magical looking, having like a drippy beeswax candle, and you can clean it up super easy because it's ceramic. You can bless the skull and use it for sympathetic magic, where you want to influence the thoughts of someone else, not a ancestor practice. You can write your petitions on pieces of paper and insert them into the bottom of the skull to ask for the help of your ancestors. It measures 7 inches from back of the head to the chin, 5.5 from top to bottom, and 4.5 from cheek to cheek. It's a beautiful, beautiful skull. It's really cool. Such a good, beautiful, really elegant piece and beautiful piece. So while you guys are typing in the way you use skulls in your ancestor practice, have you ever used skulls in your ancestor practice, Onareo?
Yeah. So I mean, and you mentioned some great ways to use them. So from a aesthetic perspective, point of view, you can use it to decorate, obviously, and again as a place where you will have it in your ancestral altar. But the holes in the bottom made me think of like creating a spirit vessel, which is very common in many different traditions, where you can add like, dirt from the graveyard of someone that you went and asked for, and like your ancestor, or your like someone in your family that you're wanting to honor, as well as you set petitions and different things that you would add them as well. You could use like a chalk paint marker on it, which you can wipe off, and while you're doing your different types of magic as well. And so it's like a magical tool as well. The skulls are also sacred to, you'll see Kali, in India with skulls around her, the collected heads that she has, so as you can use it as part of defensive magic, like protection magic. And they're also sacred to, Baron Samedi and the Gede, Mamam Brigid, and all the spirits of that have to do with the dead, or ancestral spirits, to Akate as well. It is sacred to Akate. So, and Akate is not particularly an ancestor, but it is the goddess. It is an tonic goddess, a goddess of the underworld, right? So it is psychopomp goddess as well. So it will help with connection to your ancestors as well.
And I think, this is, you bring up this whole idea, which is how I see this. Listen, if you just want to use this as a cute Halloween decoration, have at it. You know what I mean? Like, that can be a way, of course, to use this. It could be decorative, but I think if the reason I got these for the shop is because I loved the idea that you could do more with it. And I think one of the things, like you said, writing on it, because it's ceramic, anything that's like a ceramic pen that's not permanent, and I would try it out, like in a little hidden area first to make sure that your pen worked. But like, you can have a pen that's like a wipe off pen or something like that, and you could put that on there. You could write words on here, your intentions. You could, I love, love, love that you could put this candle on top and burn a candle, and you'd have all the drips coming down from the candle. But because it's ceramic, it's just like a dish or anything else. You can take that off, and you can even put this in the oven on very low, like I say, like the W of warm on your oven. So less than like 150 degrees, and you can get any residual beeswax off. Beeswax melts at 160 degrees. So you can get that off, and you can use it over and over again. So it doesn't have to be like, if the wax gets a little, faded or old or cruddy looking, you can clean it up. So I love it as a tool that you use over and over again. It's such a very beautiful, real statement piece on your altar for sure. I mean, like, this is full size. So there's something really dramatic about this on your altar. It's not just a little skull. It's not that this is a big skull. It's a regular human head size skull. But it also represents this energy of the ancestors, in the bones of the ancestors. Now, what you may not know, you might not know this, is that in Slavic traditions going way back, in the pagan tradition, they would do something called a double burial, and they would leave someone buried. And then after 5 or 10 years, they would exhume the bones from the ground, and they would put the bones on their home altar inside the home. They would leave them there for a certain period of time, and then they'd rebury those bones just by laying them in kind of an order. That's how they know that this tradition happened, because they could see the bones, with their scientific things. They're not only seeing the bones lined up, which is not how a body decomposes, but they're also seeing marks that people have taken them out and put them back again. And so Maybe there's dirt from another area or something like that. So the idea that the bones of the ancestors would be on your altar was not seen as a spooky thing or a scary thing or a taboo thing. In lots of traditions, bones are not taboo. Some traditions, they are taboo, but in lots of traditions, they aren't taboo. And they're seen as the kind of permanence of that person who once existed. I mean, there's something that I feel like I want to be buried. I don't want to be cremated myself. Why? Because I want there to be bones. I want the bones to be there. Something for me personally, not everybody's path or what they want. It's totally fine. You know, I have no judgment on anyone else. But for me personally, I love the idea that the bones exist. And I think about when I wrote Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft, and Baba Yaga, boy, she loves bones. I mean, she's all about bones. But when I wrote that book, I thought of my grandmother and my grandfather, but particularly my grandmother's bones in the cemetery in Philadelphia, and how they were singing to me, how those bones were waking up. And I love that idea of the life extended by the bones. And bones can last thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. What a beautiful way to connect back through generations, because probably most of our ancestors their bones still exist out there. And so this is a representation. You don't have to dig up their bones. Probably shouldn't dig up their bones, probably illegal, but you have to get special permission maybe. But this is a way to have their bones or a representation or a sympathetic magic to their bones if you want to connect to this permanent thing that exists of your ancestors, which is something very profound, very deep, very, very cool. So how do you guys use skulls? Does anyone out there use skulls in their ancestor practice? Do we have anybody write in? Bren says, with Hell's permission, I use a skull as a physical focus when speaking to any passed on. Beautiful, beautiful. What a great devotion too. Wonderful. I love that. Do you still sell the beeswax sugar skull candles? Those are my favorite skull candles I have used and the best. Oh, we don't have the sugar skull one, but we do have a big skull and a small skull that we have. And we also have a Santa Muerte for those devotees of Santa Muerte. That's another skull candle that we have as well. So yeah, skeleton candle, I'd say. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so those are there. All right, so let's look at our next thing. Put it up there so I know which one the next one is. The dish, I think, right? Did I remember right?
Yeah,
yes.
The dish, yeah.
I don't remember it. My brain is like scrambled eggs right now. All right, skull cast iron incense burner. Okay, you guys, got to talk to you about this one. So this hefty, and I mean hefty, it's heavy. It is solid. I mean, you can see it in my hand.
Heavy.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Question I'm going to ask you before we get started. What is we're going to talk about this is a skull cast iron incense burner. What is your favorite form of incense and why? Do you like cone incense, stick incense, loose incense, botanical incense you burn on a charcoal, or some other kind of incense? What's your favorite incense to burn? Love to hear. Even a herb bundle or a smudge stick, right? Could be used actually on this quite well. So this hefty old-fashioned skull incense tray can protect your table while you're burning incense, or can be used as a holder for your magical trinket. So it doesn't have to be an incense burner. It could be just an offering tray or a little dish of some kind. If you're looking for a solid cast iron dish for lighting incense and doing other work where a delicate porcelain saucer won't do, then look no further. This old-time solid cast iron dish, and it's like, it's like a frying pan. It's heavy. Not only provides a safe place to burn incense, charcoal incense cones, or self-lighting loose incense, but the skull is also great for ancestor work, working with Santa Muerte or Baba Yaga or any of the other chthonic gods or goddesses, and doing mental magic. It measures 4.5 inches from top of skull to chin and 3.5 across from cheek to cheek. And it's probably about 1/2 inch tall. It's really, really cool. So I find there's so many uses for these. Like, one of the things that I think about is not only burning incense, but like if you're working with an herb bundle or smudge stick, you have to have some place to put it because it's still burning after you're done with it, or to stub it out. This is the perfect thing for that. Wonderful. These cast iron trays I use all the time in my magic, all the time. Burning incense, they're great. They're nice and big, so you can like burn incense. You don't have to find some little, thing for it. Probably not so great for stick incense, but every other kind of incense it'll work great. Cone incense or loose incense or botanical incense on a charcoal. You could do it on there too. You could do it directly on there, or you could put incense sand on there as well. So tell me, what would you use this for, Chris?
So I think like first and foremost, I'm as a Virgo, practical Virgo. Like for people that are clumsy like me, and I will drop something that's glass or ceramic. It's great because you can drop this and it won't break. I mean, it is heavy and it is very pretty. So I think from a devotional standpoint as well, you can dedicate that to your ancestors, or to a particular spirit that works with your ancestors as well, and just use it for that, burning incense there for that, or using it as an offering bowl where you put like a cupcake or a piece of the food that you're eating, which is very traditional in many, which is very a practice in many traditions, right? That you'll put either the first piece of your food, you'll put it aside for the ancestors. There's not a dumb supper in particular, but it's kind of like in the same vein, right? Of like putting some food for the dead. I would also use it. Iron is believed to be to ward off against spirits, evil spirits, or spirits that are wishing you harm. So you can use it as a talisman, not talisman, amulet for
Protective, yeah.
protection. Yeah. You can use a spiritual wash on it and prepare it, get it prepped up, and then put it in the corner, in a pot of plants, in the corner of your house, somewhere where you feel like you need protection, by the entrance of your house, either outside if you have a house, inside if you have an apartment, and it's a great way to protect against any entity that might wish you harm, or might be confused and thinks their house is your house. So
Yeah.
so that's another longer topic, but I think it could be used that way as well.
I also think of like, if you're burning, okay, if you're burning, say, a candle with a lot of flammable herbs on it, um, sometimes those herbs catch on fire. They can break a ceramic dish. Happened to me many, many,
Hmm.
many times. This won't break. It'll get hot, but it won't break. So you could have it on a heat-proof surface like brick or stone or something like that, and it won't break. It won't do any, it won't crack. You won't have any mess in that way. I also think of like the idea that you could, because it's cast iron, it likes oil, right? So water is going to make it rust. So if you put water on it, make sure you dry it right away. But if you're not putting water on it, you can, instead of putting water on it, I would say put an oil on it, because
Hmm.
that will protect the cast iron and make it so it doesn't rust. So you can use that oil like seasoning, but instead of seasoning for food, you're seasoning it with a magical oil of some kind and putting it on there, and it's going to seal that cast iron so it doesn't rust. But you can also add that magical element to it, which can be very good. So I love this little guy. Super cute.
Yeah. And you
Love
can
that.
burn like petition papers. It's not a cauldron, but it's big
Yeah,
enough that if you're burning something, it doesn't look that big
absolutely.
in the camera, but it is pretty big. Like it's
Is
almost
that
as
big?
big as my hand. Yeah, it is big. It's pretty big. So I really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very generous size. I mean, I use these all the time. I have a cat one that they discontinued. They don't make anymore. And I have the skull one, and I use them all the time in my altar space, because you always have something on fire that you need to put in a safe place where it won't catch other things on fire if you're a
Yeah.
witch. Just saying. So anyway, this is on sale. You get 15% off, or if you're a coven member, you get 20% off. You get that additional. But this is super cute. Love it so much. And these are just amazing, wonderful, very, very versatile tool that you'll use a lot in your practice. I can tell you, if you do anything with fire, you will use this. All right. So let's see everybody's favorite form of incense and why. What kind of incense do they like? Um, Oh, I love working with loose incense, even though they aren't the easiest. Yeah, loose incense is kind of fun, but it's also a little fussy, right? Seven seed mystics, as I enjoyed all, but stick incense is definitely the easiest. But with pulmonary issues, I don't use it nearly as often as I would like, which would be all day, every day. Yeah, if you have lung issues, then incense is your thing. But there's so many other ways you can use this besides incense. Um, Sonia says, yes, I like the loose resin incense as well for spell work or ancestor work, so I can blend my own. I am here for it. I love making your own blend, but I love all forms of incense for various uses. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it's so easy to bring in that magic and to imbue a space with a certain energy. It's a wonderful way to work. If you have lung issues, you can do something different, which is you can make smokeless incense. Take an oil, like one of the oils at Parlour of Wonders, add it to a bottle, add some alcohol or some water, spring water to it, shake it up, and then spray it around. And you've done the same thing incense does, but no smoke to irritate your lungs if that is.
And I wanted to mention we do have the charcoal-free incense burner. It's not featured here, but we do sell it, and
Yeah,
it is great for people that have that type of issue because it really
no
produces
smoke.
no
Yeah.
smoke, and you still get that kind of like similar in a way that you get it from like a lamp, like a wax lamp.
Aromatherapy lamp.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
also have not in this grouping of things, but we also have a little cauldron aromatherapy burner where you can put oils in the little cauldron and you light a little candle under it. It's the cutest thing. It's like this tiny,
Hmm.
tiny little cauldron. It's so cute on a hook hanging. It's cute. And we also have with the smokeless incense burner where you can put resin in and the candle underneath that heats the resin so that the aroma comes out, but there's no smoke. But we also have a little bowl that you can purchase in addition to that you can turn it into an aromatherapy burner. So if that, again, there's lots of solutions if you have lung issues. Lady Vader says, I like the Japanese stick incense, which has no stick that remains at the end of the burning. I keep them in stock in my store. Yep, Madame Pamita keeps them in stock in her store. This is very clean burning incense. Look at Glinda has to put her 2 cents in. What do you think of stick incense, Glinda? You like it? She's like, catnip flavored incense, I like. So that's another, yes, Japanese incense is very clean burning. And also the charcoal, the bamboo charcoal that we sell is very clean burning. It's not very smoky and doesn't have any irritants like saltpeter, which is, you shouldn't be burning that. Not indoors at least. And if you can avoid it, it's not good. So there you go. There's our skull incense burner. Okay. Our next thing on the list is our book, What is Remembered Lives. Oh, I love this book so much. Let me tell you about this book. All right. So let me ask you a question. I'm asking you guys out there, do you have an ancestor practice and what do you do for your ancestor practice? We talked a little bit about, Onareo talked about what he did, which is to do an offering. I do the same thing. I have an ancestor altar. Every breakfast, I give them the first and best bite. I give them a little bit of my coffee in the morning and we have a little chat and then I have my breakfast. So all right, so let's talk about this book. What is Remembered Lives? Developing Relationships with Deities, Ancestors, and the Fae by Phoenix LaFae. Honor the spirits and deities of the other world and receive their blessings. This book is an invitation to connect with the spirits that you sense around you, honoring them, sharing their stories so that they may live on and so that you may become your truest self. Within these pages, you'll discover you can interact with deities, your beloved dead, and the Fae, leading to growth and expansion both spiritually and emotionally. Learn to reach out beyond the mundane world and commune with other realms of existence. This is about spirit work here, perfect for this time of year. Explore hands-on techniques for working with intention, developing your own place of power, and negotiating with the spirits that you contact. With dozens of exercises as well as instructions for beginners and experienced spiritual practitioners, this book is a guide to initiating and sustaining relationships that are more powerful than you could ever imagine. Book is a softcover book, 264 pages. Let me read to you a little bit from the table of contents. I always think a table of contents is great. Oh, she's got a lot of chapters. So we have.
I think she has a Baba Yaga ritual there.
Yeah, how to develop relationships with the unseen, ritual basics. So she gives you rituals for working with spirits, working with deities of magic, deities of mystery, deities of revolution. Section 2, this is the one. Ancestors, beloved dead, grief as a magical practice. I love that so much. Mighty dead, talking about those who have gone on, Gerald Gardner, Dion Fortune, so on and so forth. All the dead, ancestral herbs and mixes, forgotten dead. Section 3 is connection, working with the Fae. And section 4 is putting it into practice, the wheel of the year, how you can bring your spirits into different times of the year. All kinds of, look at exercises and rituals. Look at that, all of those. We have Baba Yaga ritual, the sorting challenge, aura wipe down, chakra alignment, cauldrons alignment, triple soul alignment, all kinds of things. Ancestor ritual, ancestral elevation, all kinds of things. Calling the dead, taking stocks, ancestral exercise, all kinds of things. And you get your fae and your deities. So awesome book. If you're wanting to have some very down-to-earth practical advice, as well as information on how to work with your ancestors, as well as deities and the fae, this is your book. This is your book. It's amazing. Beautiful book. Totally recommend. Phoenix is amazing herself. She writes beautiful books. I love her. She's got good, solid knowledge to share with everyone. So I love that. All right. Let's talk about our next thing, the trillion. Oh, we got to check everybody's.
Yeah,
What is
the
our
questions.
ancestor practice? Yes, yes. What do you do with your ancestor practice? Did anyone say? Does anyone have an ancestor practice? If not, you can start one. Nobody commented on that question. Okay.
The other thing I didn't mention earlier about it, because we were kind of like going into the conversation. Mediumship is a great way to communicate with your ancestors, you know. So any type of which, again, going back to the book, it has some exercises in that in the same, along the same line, where you can go into a deeper level within yourself or with other people, as well if you're practicing with someone else, right? And tap into that energy where you will or that current where you will communicate with loved ones who have passed. You know, a lot of people think of ancestors as, you know, oh, ancient ancestors, and that's one way of thinking about ancestors, and it's very valid. But ancestors are the people that, you know, your grandparents, great grandparents, you know, your you know, your uncle, whatever. And sometimes they're closer than you think, and you might even think, you know, oh, I didn't know this person in life, and yet they are an ally to you, or they are a spirit guide to you, you know. So it's great to explore that as well.
I also think sometimes it comes up when people are adopted or they don't know who their ancestors are. You know, like for me, I only know my grandparents. I don't know someone on my dad's side. I know more, but my mom's side, I don't know my great grandparents or even know their names. All I know is my grandparents' names, and that's all I've been able to discover. I'm trying to find more. But what I'm saying is that in that realm, if you don't know your ancestors, maybe you were adopted, or maybe you only know one generation, it doesn't matter. If you're adopted, you get double. You get not only your family that adopted you and those ancestors, because you're part of that family, you also get your biological family and those ancestors. So you get both. You get to both of those channels in the world. And I also think ancestors don't have to be someone who's a blood relation. It might be someone who you loved and respected who passed on, or someone you were deeply connected to. So it can be that found that found family, or that family that we create, the created family that we have. So it doesn't have to be blood relations. If you don't have good relations with your family by blood, and that's a real thing that some people have, you know, that situation, it can be the people that were your mentors or your guides or your teachers, you know, as well. So it can be other kinds of family, you know, not just family of blood or all of that. So think expansively when you think about ancestors. It's not just the blood relation. Sonia says, I have an altar for the ancestors. Wonderful. And I'm an amateur genealogist and do a sort of mediumship to communicate. That's wonderful. They look out for me and I honor them. So good. So good. My ancestors look out for me too. Big time. Big time.
And they made a point very important, which is the genealogy. Like now with all this ancestry or 23andMe, etc. Even though those systems are not perfect, you can definitely find blood relatives and make connections. I found a lot of people that I didn't even know about in my family tree.
Wow.
You know, by doing my DNA. So.
Wonderful. Love Witch says, I have a candle on my altar that represents my ancestors, and I tell them good morning and good night each day, and also leave small offerings. I love that. Yeah, just talk to your ancestors. Really, a big part of an ancestor practice. Yeah, just like that. Sinluk says, I just speak to them, but I haven't been sure how to do work on this. Well, this is a great book for you to get started with that. If you want to deepen your practice with your ancestors, she's got wonderful, wonderful techniques in this book. So you should definitely check out this book. Be a really good one. All right, let's look at our next thing. Our next thing is the Trypillian Slavic goddess idol magnet. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. She is so cute. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about this. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have any ancient symbols in your home? And what are your favorites? Do you have any ancient symbols in your home? What are your favorites? You can think about that one too, Onareo. The Trypillian Slavic goddess idol magnet is a replica of the clay statues of the mother goddess found in the Trypillian culture, which existed 7,000 years ago in what is now Ukraine, Romania, and Moldova. This handmade clay sculpture talisman is a functional magnet. Look, there's a magnet, and is a replica of the clay statues of mother goddesses found in the archaeological excavations of ancient Trypillian sites. These mother goddess idols were displayed in every household as a symbol of blessing, fertility, and prosperity. The Trypillian culture was an advanced Neolithic culture that thrived from 5,500 to 2,750 BCE. Thousands of these goddesses have been found in areas of modern-day Ukraine, Romania, and Moldova. These talismans are handmade for us by Ukrainian master ceramicist Zhana Rosipchuk of Ceramistry. She sculpts and then fires each piece by hand using the ancient technique of milk firing, where the pottery is covered with high-fat milk and then baked in the kiln. So she makes this like, other than the magnet and the glue, this is made how they made it. This magnet is a small handmade sculpture of this ancient goddess. She can be placed on any steel surface to honor your ancient ancestors, the Great Mother, or the old goddesses. Put a petition paper for your good fortune underneath the magnet to invite your ancestors to bless your wish. Isn't that like the easiest spell in the world to do? It's so easy to do. I love easy magic. Place a drop of your favorite spiritual oil on her to charge her even more, and she will bless you with abundance. Each one is unique. They're handmade and handmade. It's a unique and handmade work of art, and no two are exactly alike. The goddess measures 3.5 inches tall and 1 inch wide and has a magnet on the back. This is such a great, not just a decoration for your fridge, but a real magical tool. A real magical tool. If you have a wish or intention and you'd like your ancient ancestors to tap into that. Goddesses, now these are particular. Yes, these are particular to Trypillian culture, but goddesses very similar to these really exist all over the world. We see very similar pottery goddesses and things like that. So even if you're not Slavic, you can look at this as a great mother goddess. It doesn't have to be your ancestors, your culture, or anything like that, but you can bring this in as a representation of these beautiful goddesses. She also has this kind of like bird-like face. She really represents these bird-headed goddesses that we see. I mean, really, look at those details. Absolutely gorgeous. Symbolism of fertility that we still see in Ukrainian embroidery, and these swirls that we still see as capturing negative energy and transmuting that energy. These are ancient symbols that go back thousands of years and are still used in design on, for sure, Ukrainian design and lots of other places as well. So do you have any ancient symbols in your home?
Me in particular,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I usually keep what you've seen. Like I usually keep an ankh. I have like a special connection to the ankh. This is a ring that actually broke. I broke it. But I do have a connection with the ankh. And I have a lot of like different like trinkets and stuff like that from different places. So I don't have a favorite. I think they all connect me to a like, for example, I wear this again, this is bone, this is a Tibetan charm, but I wore this because of the ancestors, and I
Mhm.
wear like old keys, like iron keys and stuff like that. So those are my favorite. but
Wonderful.
but this, I love really the fact that you can use it, like you can keep it in your car, like after you bless it, or bathe it, or empower it for protection, for blessings. You can give it, it's inconspicuous. Is that the word, right? Like it's
Mhm.
not very unassuming, right? So it doesn't. People won't think of witchcraft or anything like that when they, So if you want to give a nice gift to someone, uh, and protect them in a way, also, like, hide your magic. It's a great gift as well.
Mhm. I also think of like at work, like you said,
Hmm.
inconspicuous. We all have metal filing cabinets, steel filing cabinets everywhere, and people put magnets and stickers and things on there. You could put this with a little folded paper underneath and have a little spell at work for protection or success or abundance or anything like that at work. No one will know. It's going to know. If they read that paper underneath, they're not going to know it's a spell, right? You say success, right?
Hmm.
So does anyone else have any favorites? So I have, listen, trillion goddesses are all over my house. I mean, I love them. I'm so obsessed with them. I've got stuffed dolls and all kinds of ceramics that Jana has made and all of that. Does anyone have any other favorite symbols? Um, there are several of these trillion goodies on sale in this category, in addition to the ones we are highlighting. I know there's all kinds of things. There's
Yeah, we
uh,
have a necklace one, I
a
believe, and
necklace one. There's a god, I think the god magnet, goddess magnet. We got all kinds of
there's a
things. Look at
sitting
this one.
one too, a sitting goddess, a small
Yeah,
sitting
a
goddess
little
too.
sitting
Yeah.
goddess, the big one that we're gonna show in a little bit, and all those. So yeah, these are really magical, really powerful, really ancient magic. So I love these, and for me, these represent my ancient ancestors who I don't know. Like, I think of these as like we all have
Mhm.
ancestors going back 10,000, 15, 20,000 years, right? But we don't know those people. We might not even know where they were or where they came from, but these can represent going back to that. Also, like Goddess of Willendorf is another example of these ancient goddesses. So these are just connecting back to the ancient ancestors in a beautiful way. And I love it. Just beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. So, all right. Very magical, says Helen. Yeah, it's very magical. Really
Yeah, and
cool.
to your point, I mean, they're faceless,
Hmm.
so it's kind of like those forgotten, or those that you don't know, and that you can never know
Hmm.
that how they look. So it could be any face, right? So I really like
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. I mean, love her. All
that.
right. Anyone else have anything to say about their ancient symbols? No? Okay. All right. So let's talk about our next thing. Day of the Dead. We're moving into different culture. Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, skull charm pillow. This is made for us in Peru. So I want to ask you guys, how do you celebrate the ancestors at Halloween time, Dia de los Muertos, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, all of
Mhm.
that? How do you celebrate the ancestors at this time? Do you do anything special? Do you do anything
Me?
special for them? I don't know.
No, me
Anybody.
or
Everybody.
anybody?
Well,
No.
let's
So
first talk
for
about ourselves
yeah,
first.
yeah. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So these sweet and fanciful Day of the Dead felt skull charm pillows can be used any time of year for honoring one's ancestors. These are adorably handmade. So it's a little plain on the back and then little skull in the front. Handmade Day of the Dead felt skull charm pillows are made in Peru with love and intention. Each colorful face is unique, just like your ancestors. The applique felt shiny sequins, and seed bead fringe. Look at that little cute little fringe there. Glass seed beads are colorful and festive and will remind you of the good times. I love this because it's a skull that's not a scary skull. I don't mind a scary skull, but this is super playful and adorable. If you have kids, it's a lovely way to like bring that energy in a way that may not be so, shocking or something like that. It's just a lovely, happy image of a skull. Um, Made out of felt, a crafty sort of person could open up a few of the edge stitches, very easy to do, and add a petition paper, herbs, or curios, or graveyard dirt, or whatever inside to personalize this charm. The handy loop at the top will allow you to simply hang it on a wall, or you could add another piece of string and hang it on a doorknob to bring the blessings of your loved ones to your home. You could also, the holidays are coming up. You want a cute, fun, different kind of decoration. I'm not going to say no. I mean, you can make a tree with a whole bunch of talismans on it. I have talismans on my tree, so I think in that way. Um, so you can get one for each family member you wish to honor, or you can use one to represent your entire lineage. This charm is large enough to be a display piece, but could also easily be carried in a purse or pocket to bring those blessings with you wherever you go. Yeah, it's about the size. It's about palm of my hand. You can see that. Um, like all handmade items, each one has its own unique look, and no two are exactly alike. The charm measures 3 inches by 2 inches, plus there's this little fringe at the bottom, which is adorable. Look, so cute. Beautiful handmade little piece of artifact, wonderful magic, and doesn't look magic. I mean, I think you look at this, nobody would think of this as being really a magical tool. You know, you can hide it in plain sight, no one would know. I mean, I don't even know if people would may even know that it's a skull. You know it's a skull. I know it's a skull, but they might not. They might just think it's a face, you know? So I love that. So, how do you celebrate your ancestors at the holidays, the fall holidays? Do you do anything special? I mean, it's a
Yeah,
Celtic
so
holiday, but
yeah, so in particular, I mean, I grew up in Puerto Rico. We celebrate the Dia de los Muertos, but not in the same. I've picked up different practices from other traditions that I also like. You know, I have my daily practice, but I do build a small altar for my ancestors close to the, you know, just to honor that within myself of thinking of Halloween as a very magical uh liminal space, and it's kind of like a liminal space from Halloween towards all the way to Day of the Dead, which would be November 2nd, I believe, because I think All
Mhm.
Saints Day
Yeah.
is the first, right?
Mhm.
And you know, and you leave it up, and you kind of like take the offerings as they begin to like go, you know, a little stale or whatever. You take them off, and but it's kind of like a reminder that you go up there and you talk about the person and you talk about what they like, you know, similar to what you would do in a funeral, like in a wake, right?
Mhm.
But in a happier, you know, way, right?
Yeah,
And
and
some
this is
people,
such
you
a
know,
happy
cry,
little
some, you know,
skull.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. I like doing it because it really gets me into that. I love Halloween. This is my favorite holiday because I love dress
Mm.
up also, you know. So as you know.
Yes.
But I love the ideas that you mentioned for that, and I also like that you could also put that in your car. You know, again, put some protection oil, fill it with some petition, do something, and put it there. You could take that and offer it at a grave site of your ancestor, as you know, because it is things of nature, but it's not part. You know, like it's not gonna harm the environment.
Mhm.
Just to leave it's cloth, and you know. So I think that's a way of keeping some like a trinket, you know.
Yeah, it's a beautiful decoration if you make an ofrenda, which is the Dia de los Muertos altar. If you're
Hmm.
coming from that tradition and you practice that, that would be a lovely way to do that as well. I mean, yeah, I also think of like, you know, one of the things that I talk about, and it's a great time of year to watch this movie is Coco, that movie Coco, which talks about Dia de los Muertos in a very sweet way. You know, it talks about it in such a sweet way. So I found that movie to be wonderful to introduce people to ancestor work who are not familiar with ancestor work, who think of spirits as being scary or ancestor work or inviting spirits as being a scary thing. It's a wonderful way I think this is mostly a lot of Anglo people, I'll say. That get scared of, oh my gosh, I don't want to have like Scrooge with like these ghosts showing up in the middle of the night or whatever. And they have such a fearful thing about working with the ancestors, you know? And so if you can watch that movie Coco at this time of year, it will give you, if you're nervous about working with spirits or you're mm, don't get it or you don't understand it, I think it's a wonderful introduction to that practice. Obviously, it's very Disneyfied, you know what I mean, and all of that. But I think for people who are unfamiliar with that tradition of working with spirits, it's a wonderful introduction because it
Oh,
makes
it's
it,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, I cry in that movie. Oh my God, I cry in that movie so
Yeah.
much because it's
Because
so
it's about
touching.
family too. It's not just about the Day of the Dead. Like that's kind of
Yes.
like, but it's really
It's so
about the
touching. It's
relationship
so
with the
touching.
families. Yeah.
Exactly. It's so touching. So anyway, this beautiful thing to bring in that lovely Dia de los Muertos energy, or just to work with your ancestors. Doesn't have to be for Dia de los Muertos. It can be for any ancestor work any time of year. But you know, this is kind of that time of year.
You know,
All right.
and I want to say something real quick. Now that
Mhm.
you mentioned that movie, you know, I think the book name is what is remembered lives, right? The book that, and kind of
Yeah.
like the point of Coco, it's really talking about how your ancestors keep being alive. And this is a belief in many cultures, that you remember them, and by remembering them, they keep that energy, they stay alive, right? Because they're not forgotten. So I think
Mhm.
that's a great way of looking at ancestral work, and why you would decide to do that, even if it's to keep that memory alive and to keep that strength within your family as well.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of traditions that say when you're in two different places, your spirit is in two different places. When there are people that are living on this earth who still remember you alive, that you live in this more earthly plane. And when the last person that is alive that remembers you has passed, then you move on to like a more distant plane of spirit. So it's a beautiful practice to remember our ancestors. I think you can remember back any, and even if you never knew them, you
mhm.
can honor them for sure. No question about that. All right. Anybody have any practices? Oh, Helen says growing up Catholic, very much into All Souls, growing up Catholic, and in California, very much love Dia de los Muertos, which seems so much eternal. I mean, yes. I mean, for sure. I grew up in Los Angeles as well, Helen. And when we are in LA, the Mexican culture is really prevalent. Central American culture, definitely too, but really Mexican culture is interwoven into Southern California. It's part, I mean, California was, you know,
Mexico.
part of Mexico. So we have this beautiful, beautiful culture that we can appreciate and see that. And I love observing those ofrendas. We have all kinds of, Dia de los Muertos. And I think it has been very educational for me as a white person to see these practices. I have my own Slavic practice, which we're going to talk about in a second, but I see a correspondence between that and Dia de los Muertos. We do a lot of our stuff at Christmas time in Slavic practice, but it's the same vibe. It's connecting and loving those ancestors and making them present and remembering them, honoring them, inviting them. So, there's a lot of crossover there, different flavors, but a lot of crossover. Anyone else celebrate their ancestors at Halloween time? Anyone else? No? Okay. All right, let's look at our next thing, the Motanka Spirit Doll Making Kit. Motanka Spirit Doll Making Kit. I brought a couple of my Motanki here from the kit, just so you could get a little flavor, different outfits, different colors. This one is the one in the picture. Look at that. You're seeing her in real life. Woo.
Yeah.
It's like you're like a celebrity. Um, and then this one is one I made probably for a class or something, I think, but they're both from the kits. They're both from these kits. So question I have for you guys is, have you ever worked with a poppet? This is a different kind of poppet. Most poppet magic is sympathetic magic. We're working on someone living, influencing them, or doing something magically on them. But this is a different kind. So let me tell you a little bit about the Motanka. In Ukrainian magic, the Motanka is a powerful spirit doll crafted for healing, protection, blessings, and assistance from your ancestors. With the kit, you're going to have everything you need to craft your own Motanka and bring luck, love, health, and magic into your life. You'll get one, you'll get all the, she's not going to be made. She's going to be pieces of material, but you'll have everything you need to make one of these. And it's important that you make your own. Learn how to make this ancient Ukrainian magic spirit doll. Motanki have been around for thousands of years as talismans to house our guardian ancestors. So it's different than a regular puppet. It's a house for your ancestors. So they can protect us, give us strength, provide insight and inspiration, heal us, and bless us. Throughout millennia, they have been created and given from mother to daughter, weaving a golden thread of lineage connecting generation to generation. Motanki can be crafted to protect the home, bring blessings to the family, and provide the comfort that only the ancestors can give. Place your Motanka on an ancestor altar or in the sacred corner of your home. These two live on my ancestor altar. These two, and I have another one over there, but she's a little bit different. I have another one on my pokut, which is my home altar as well. If you want to speak with your ancestor spirit, you can talk to your Motanka and ask for their support. They can aid a loved one in pregnancy and childbirth, or they can be placed in a cradle before a child is born to protect them in infancy and connect them to their ancestors. They can be given to an ill person to remove their sickness or placed in a casket so that the ancestors accompany one into the afterlife. Chris, I want you to make sure that there's one of my motunkis in my casket when I die, all right? I better have one. If not, I'll come and
I have
haunt you.
I've had it ready for. I'm kidding.
Ah, he's sticking pins in the motunka. I'm joking.
Oh my gosh, no, no,
We're joking.
don't even get me thinking about those things. Yeah.
Uh, this kit comes with everything you need to make a beautiful 9-inch tall motunka of your own. It comes with, now I want to talk about the ingredients because they're very special. It comes with hand woven vintage Ukrainian hemp fabric for the body and the arms. This is old vintage hand woven hemp fabric from Ukraine that I sourced and purchased for these kits. This is some very powerful magic here. You also get cotton cloth for the headdress, the little scarf that she wears on her head, cotton cloth for her skirt, a colorful ribbon for her apron, red floss for tying the motunka, and you get a tapestry needle for tucking those little ends of the floss in, and complete step-by-step instructions. Your clothing may look different. I mean, here we have two different ones from the same kit, different apron, different clothing, slightly different. So you're going to have different clothing, different things going on, but you will have, they're cute and they are cute fabric. I picked cute fabric, no ugly fabric in my life. Powerful symbols on the apron, that ribbon, look at that. Powerful symbols on there of protection and so on. So that is the motunka kit. People love this. Got great reviews on our site, by the way, how magical it is. It is really magical. And the directions are really easy. You can do it. Even if you're not a crafty person, I promise you, kids make these. If a kid can make one, you can make one. It's a beautiful doll, beautiful motunka kit, and you can make your own. So yeah. So has anyone worked with a poppet before? Do you have any kind of houses for your ancestors in your practice?
So I have stuff that not particular houses, but in different traditions, people make a spirit pot, which is in the sim or like Lukumi tradition and Palo and different things they would do. They use a doll to house a particular spirit, and it could be cloth, it could be wood, it could be uh, plastic, but dressed up, and in the dress they'll add stuff, magical stuff or packets of stuff, where you kind of like baptize them and kind of like give them a name, and that's the house of your particular spirit guide. So yeah.
You know what?
I have a different I have my different thoughts about it, but I feel more like I have certain things that symbolize specific ancestors. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think of these, this is a Slavic tradition, but you don't have to be Slavic. It's not a close
Yeah.
practice. If you want to make one, you don't have to be Slavic to make one. If you feel a connection to it, you honor it that it's Ukrainian, that's it. But this is not a close practice. And if you are interested in making one, you should make one. They're beautiful, magical things to make. Gorgeous. And you want your ancestors protecting you. By the way, if you have Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft, chapter 2 is all about making a motunka. So you can read the chapter and learn more about it if you want to learn more about these spirit dolls. It's really a beautiful practice. So, all right. Anybody else have a puppet story? No? Okay. We're going to move on to our handmade Trypillian Slavic goddess. Do you have a special goddess that you like to work with? That's our question for you guys in the audience. Do you have a special goddess that you like to work with? This handmade Trypillian Slavic goddess altar statue is a replica of the clay. It's like actually the actual size of the originals. It's a replica of the clay statues of the mother goddess on a throne. There's the throne. There she is sitting on the throne. Found in the Trypillian culture, which existed, as we talked about, 7,000 years ago in what is now known as Ukraine, Romania, and Moldova. This handmade clay sculpture of a sacred woman on a throne is a replica of the clay statues of mother goddesses on thrones found in the archaeological excavations of ancient Tripolian sites. These were everywhere. They find, I mean, they haven't even excavated all of the land. And of course, now probably no excavation is going on, but they have found thousands of these beautiful statues. They're very bird-like. Look at the bird-like face. I mean, the face looks like almost like a bird without the beak, right? And they're bird-like goddesses, beautiful, beautiful goddesses, very elegant, magical symbols painted on them. These are handmade. Again, these are made by Jana Rosipchuk, who is Ukrainian, and she's a Ukrainian ceramic artist who is in Ukraine. So you're supporting Ukrainian artists when you purchase this. Her business is called Sarah Mystery. She hand sculpts, hand paints, and then fires each piece by hand using the ancient technique of milk firing, where the pottery is covered with high-fat milk, then baked in the kiln. So this is a beautiful statue. Gorgeous, amazing, super beautiful replica. So you don't have to have an antique to represent this beautiful, oh my gosh. I wish you guys could see it up close. It's just so magical, so powerful. And she has her beautiful little throne. So you could put this on your altar to represent ancient ancestors. You can put it on your altar to represent goddess, beautiful goddess energy, ancient goddess energy, all that fertility, abundance. She's got a little sun symbol on her belly, all those swirls and growth of those like fern-like plants on her. It's just beautiful, the dots and everything. Necklace around her neck. Love her. So gorgeous. You can place this unique sculpture on your altar to honor your ancient ancestors, the Great Mother, or the old goddesses. She will bless your home with abundance. Each sculpture comes with a goddess and a separate painted clay throne, just as the originals were created. This is what they found in the excavation. Each one is a unique and handmade work of art, and no two are exactly alike. The goddess and throne measure 5 inches tall, 5 inches long, and 3 inches wide. So it's pretty big.
They're pretty big, yeah. Very, very nice size.
Beautiful piece on your altar if you want to honor ancient goddesses, ancient feminine energy, any of that, or your ancient ancestors. Lady Vader says, I teach history and culture, so I have many deity statues from all over time and cultures. So this goddess would be at home anywhere. This is Nan from the Spell Squad. Nan, that's amazing. I know. I am fascinated with archaeology. I subscribe to the Archaeology magazine. I love reading about archaeology of all over the place. It's like fascinating to me. The things that they find and the things that archaeologists are able to discover, the history that they're able to discover without written history is amazing to me. I can never stop reading about that. So beautiful. I mean, these gorgeous goddesses. I mean, goddess of Willendorf, again, we got this one, the magnets. We got more goddesses in the ancestor category. So if you want something in between these two, we've got different sizes. We've got all kinds of things. So yeah. Do you have any special goddess you like to work with, Onareo?
I do, but I don't have I have images. Like I have Pondin, which I love. I have Akate. I have a cat, Sacred to Bastet, obviously because I have 2 cats, and or 2 cats have me. So,
You're servant,
and
you know that.
and I have the statue here in a table. And the other day I come in and one of my cats is like laying next to the cat statue, like like this, and I'm like, oh. So yeah, I have a deep connection with with her as well.
It's like, it's interesting because I like the unnamed goddesses. I think like her, I connect more deeply with them because I can develop a personal relationship without intermediaries telling me what to do or how to think. I have had, of course, throughout my magical career, many goddesses that I've worked with and so on, but I tend to focus on those. If we look at the shamanic sense, I tend to focus on the lower world. I love the lower world and all of that earthy kind of spirit energy. So I tend to work with those. And I love these unnamed goddesses who are, nobody really knows. Nobody knows their names. Nobody knows, that wasn't written down. So you get to build your own relationship with this beautiful unknown being. So I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, let's look at our horn offering bowl. We're going to go horn offering bowls. So, question for you guys out in the audience: if you want to put it into chat, drop an answer into chat. What kind of offerings do you leave out for your ancestors? Tell me, do you have an ancestor practice where you leave offerings? What kind of offerings do you leave out for your ancestors? The reason we're asking that is going to be because we're talking about horn altar offering bowls. So, these are beautifully polished natural horn bowls, and they come in 3 sizes. So, we have small, medium, and large. Large is really big. Large is like a cereal bowl size. This is kind of like side dish, and this is like tiny, little, not too big. So these are beautifully polished natural horn bowls, perfect for holding offerings on your altar, or could be a catch-all for displaying your crystals or charms or other magical goodies. These carefully polished bowls are made from natural, ethically sourced water buffalo horn, the same material that our ancient ancestors used for their tools and weapons. So connects you back to there we go, back to the ancestors again. These bowls have an authentic, warm, unmatched by any man-made materials, an authentic warmth to them. They, it's like they're not breakable, like per se, but they're not plastic. They're horned, so they have this wonderful sort of unique warmth to them. Each bowl is absolutely unique, and the patterns will vary from black and creamy white and even clear striations. This one has like a little bit of blue in it, which I thought was interesting, but you can see it's clear. You can see my finger through there, right? And then it gets, more opaque. So they're really very unique in their look. This one has a lot of white on the outside and sort of mixed on the inside. And here we have the big one that's dark on the inside and more yellow and golden color and white on the outside. So they all are very, very unique. So you might get this one or you might get a completely different one. You can use these bowls for offering at your altar or to elegantly store your magical tools. So we all need a bowl of magical tools. We all have crystals and runes and things that we need to put in something, right? So this is a place that we can put those things and we can leave them out on our altar. You can use these 3 sizes. They can stack. So if you get small, medium, and large, you can just, if you're using them off and on, you can stack them very easily. They all fit one in the other. And you can store them if you don't use them all the time. Yes, Glass Gavelin says those bowls are gorgeous. I am obsessed with these bowls. This is one of those things that I get obsessed with. And I'm like, why doesn't anyone see these? Like I see these, but we have people that do see these every once in a while. Oh my gosh, the link for all the eligible sale items shows many offering bowls. How best to choose which materials, such as horn or crystal? It's like it's what you are attracted to. If you would rather work with a crystal bowl, the crystal bowls are really small. So those are going to be for small offerings. If you've got bigger offerings, you might want to use this or one of the bigger trays, So are you going to leave whole fruits? If you're leaving a bunch of oranges, you're going to want this big one, right? If you're leaving a little bite of food, you can use the little one or even the little crystal bowl. So, the water buffalo horn is made of keratin. It's the same material as our hair and fingernails. It's completely natural and biodegradable. No more plastic. I'm super anything that's not plastic. I'm so down for it because we have too much plastic in this world. So here's this gorgeous bowl that can take a little rough stuff. It's not delicate, but you wouldn't want to treat it super roughly. So it is a natural material, so it does need to be treated with some care. So you want to store it in a cool, dry place. You want to store it away from extremes of temperature and humidity. Don't soak the bowl in anything because just like your fingernails get soft if you soak them in water, you don't want to soak this because it will get soft. You can occasionally nourish the bowl with a little almond, coconut, or olive oil just to keep that shine and give it a little seal of protection as well. You could put, our magical oils have a coconut oil base, so you could put a spiritual oil on this bowl very easily, and it would be good for the bowl. So not only would you add your magic, but you'd be treating the bowl as well. You don't want to use sharp utensils such as knives, as horn is easily scratched, just like your fingernails can be scratched, right? So think of it as like the fingernails. You don't want to do anything that would scratch your fingernail. Don't put a nail file on it, in other words. You can clean your horn bowl with a dry cloth or tissue if you need to, or you can wipe it with a cloth dipped in warm soapy water and then wipe clean with a wet soap-free cloth and then rub with a little of that oil, as we talked about, to maintain its condition. The small bowl measures 2 3/4 inches in diameter and is 1.5 inches high. The medium measures 4 3/4 in diameter and it is 1 3/4 inch high. And the large is 7 inches in diameter, like a 45 record. For those of you that are old people like me, remember 45s, it's a little bit bigger. 45s are 6 inches in diameter. This is 7 inches. So it's pretty big. And it's 2 inches high. It can hold a lot. So, Onareo, what kind of offerings do you leave out for your ancestors? And the rest of you, did you put something in chat? Put something in chat. What do you leave out there?
You know, candy usually, like nothing that
You
gets
do candy a lot.
yeah, I do candy a lot, but I also, you know, coffee, candy, you know, sometimes cigars or cigarettes if they were smokers in life, you know, it's traditional, you know, like libations, right? And if I cook something, again, like I'll put a piece of it, right? Or I can make a special dish. Like I do that often for like around Halloween. I'll cook a particular specific dish, and I'll make, you know, I'll have some of it, but then I really do it for the ancestors. And what else did I do? I mean, fruit, you know.
Bread. I think of things like
Yeah,
bread. It's a big
yeah.
one for me.
Like here you can get conchas and all that, you know, all the Mexican pastries and
Sweetbreads,
everything. Yeah, and that's
But
like very popular for ancestors.
yeah, I think a lot of times we can use things like breads are really good. So if I have toast in the morning, or even things like oatmeal, like this morning I had oatmeal and cherries, like frozen cherries that I defrosted. So I had cherries and oatmeal, and I put a cherry and some oatmeal in the little bowl for my ancestors. So, but I think of this, like a lot of traditions, people leave fruit for the gods, goddesses, deities, and ancestors. You know, lots of oranges. I see that in Buddhist culture, for example, where there's
Yeah,
offerings
anything
made.
that's like evergreen or stuff like that,
Yeah.
they'll offer, you know.
So the main thing is, if you're leaving offerings of food, is that you don't let the food get gross and moldy. That's super disturbing.
And
You
this,
leave it there
yeah,
for 1 day or 2 days and then clean it out. Traditionally, you can leave it outside for the animals to eat. You know, you can leave it outside, you could
if
bury it
it's
in your
safe.
yard. Yeah, exactly.
I try
I
not to
I
leave chocolate because there's so many
Oh,
dogs
dogs.
and stuff
Yeah,
like that, you
exactly.
know, that.
Exactly. Exactly. So those are the horn offering bowls. All right. So you can get those. They are very reasonably priced. Oh, look at this. Sonia. I leave coffee, whiskey, milk, honey, cinnamon, and breads or cookies. Occasionally a heavier meal. Depends on time of year and the vibe. Great. I love all of those. Yeah. Breads and cookies. Who doesn't love a cookie? Even the spirits will love a cookie. Come on. Especially if it's homemade. Anything homemade has your energy and love in it is always going to be preferable to something that you buy. So if you know, obviously not everyone has time to cook or whatever, but if you make something from scratch, it's wonderful to offer that. Um, Glass Goblin says, I've made honey bread as an offering. I like to leave wine, other alcohol, and herbs sometimes as well. Wonderful. Those are wonderful offerings. Fruit is a great offering. Whole fruits are a great offering. You can leave a bowl of fruit for them. Just make sure that the things don't get gross and moldy, you know, and check them all the time to make sure they're looking good. You know, if they're getting moldy or they're getting shriveled or that means the energy's out of them anyway. Oh, Helen says, I just ordered the medium-sized horn bowl. I love these. I know. They're gorgeous. You're going to love it. You're going to love it as much as I do. I have a whole collection, and I put all kinds of things in it, and I use them all the time. I think they're just gorgeous and amazing, magical. That horn energy feels like so ancient and old, and I love it. It's just beautiful. All right,
And it's
let's look at our.
interesting, you know, the
Mhm.
so, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was just going to
No,
go to the next
the
one. Yeah.
horns have been used for communication. You know, they're used in many make noise with it, etc. Right?
Mhm.
But also for communication. So it's a great way to kind of like pay homage to that use
Mhm.
for horns. You know, especially in African traditions as well, they use horns as divination tools. That big one can be used definitely as a scrying bowl as well. You know, in a
Oh,
dim
well, you want to be
lit.
careful
You
with the
know,
water. You want
yeah,
to
yeah,
use
yeah.
careful water.
Yeah, if you use something that, you know, and then you'll toss it, you know, but you know,
Yeah.
but I think it's shiny enough to not necessarily have to use anything in it, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, you could just look at it.
So
Absolutely,
yeah.
polish it, put a little oil on it, even be shiny.
Hmm. Yeah, oil, perfect.
So now our second to the last thing is our beeswax ancestor spirit candle. Oh my gosh, can I just say this is my favorite color green right here. That's why I picked the green one because I love this green. It's a kind of a yellowish green, such a beautiful color. So question for you guys, what kind of wishes would you ask your ancestors to assist with? What kind of wishes would you ask your ancestors to help you with? Because a candle is a way to set out an intention or set out a wish or, put that out there. So if we're asking our ancestors for something, I just did this. I just used an ancestor candle for healing for my son who's dealing with illness right now. And I did an ancestor. I'm like, ancestors, please help as he goes through surgery. He went through surgery perfectly. No problems. Great. Did great. So, yeah, that's what I did it for. So, what kind of wishes would you ask your ancestors to assist with? Honor the ones who have gone before you. You can honor them. You don't even have to ask them for something. You can just use this to honor them. Honor the ones who have gone before you with this beautiful ancestor spirit beeswax candle. Use it on your altar to petition the ancestors for guidance, protection, prosperity, healing, and assistance. Your ancestors, the ones who have gone on to the realm of spirit, surround you with protection, healing, prosperity, and love. They can be your blood family, your adoptive family, or your found family of friends and loved ones. Honor them, remember them, or petition them with this beautiful ancestor spirit beeswax candle. Burn this candle as an offering or gift to thank them for their blessings, to ask them for their guidance, to gain their protection, or simply to connect more deeply with them. Use these 100% beeswax candles and spells for power or as offerings and petitions to your ancestors. Use the color that aligns with your intention. You could use red for passion and action or romance, love, pink for romance, friendship, or family, black for banishing or protection, green for fertility, generosity, or prosperity, blue for tranquility, healing, or reconciliation, purple for power and mastery, yellow for fame, happiness, luck, orange for removing blocks or inviting opportunities, brown for grounding, fidelity, court case work, white for blessing or any other purpose. You could dress this candle with spirit guide oil before lighting it for your intention. You could place this candle unlit on an altar dedicated to connecting with your ancestors. I do that all the time. I leave a candle there. I mean, the ancestor candle I used for my kid was sitting on my altar for like 6 months before I even used it on my ancestor altar. So it was building up that energy as it was going along. You could dress it with talk to me oil to open up communication or bountiful blessings oil to receive blessings from your ancestors. You could add a booster pack around this candle, a miracles booster pack to petition your ancestors to create miracles on your behalf. So if you want to know how to work with a candle like this, you can always get my book, The Book of Candle Magic, or you can check out my YouTube channel. I teach all about candle magic over there. This candle is 4 inches high. It's all 100% beeswax. It is unscented. If you are sensitive to fragrance, no fragrance added. This is all pure beeswax. It burns about 4 or 5 hours. It's 100% pure beeswax, cotton wick, no lead in the wick. It's fragrance free. Cleanest burning wax you can buy, by the way. Nothing toxic in beeswax. And it's lovingly witchcrafted at the Parlour of Wonders by Onareo or Miss Kelly. Sometimes me, I make a candle once in a while as well. So these are made by witches, a candle made by witches. I love this sweet face because it's a face, it's peaceful, it's loving, and it can be really like pan-cultural. I think this could be anything, right? Asian culture, African cultures, Western European cultures, Eastern European cultures, you name it, Oceania cultures, all of them, So I think of it as being very pan. Any culture could be this beautiful face. So, yeah. What kind of wishes would you ask your ancestor for, Onareo?
I think my main wish, always is for connection, and clarity. I think that, especially coming from the ancestors, right, and to heal any ancestral, you know, I don't like to call it. I mean, there are certain things that people acknowledge as ancestral curses, right? But ancestral like baggage that you might be dragging, right? Like there's also that aspect and healing, So depending on which is great because you can choose whatever color you want and for your intention as well. And as you said, you can burn it with only the intention to honor, but you can still use the color to represent a particular uplifting. I think also there's the idea of elevating your ancestors as well, in different practices. So you can burn that for that intention and burn a little bit each day, while you do that.
Yvonne
Go ahead.
Subotin
Yeah.
says it's beautiful. Yvonne is here in the room. Yvonne is our friend from Kyiv. We're going to be doing in 4 minutes-ish, 5 minutes, it might be 10 minutes, Yvonne. We're going to be doing Tarot for Kindness, which is my tarot reading fundraiser for Ukrainian seniors. Yvonne is my friend in Kyiv who distributes groceries to seniors, and we raise funds so you can buy those groceries for seniors. These could be our ancestors, Yvonne. Look at it, could be our ancestors looking down on us. All right, so anybody else have a wish that they would ask their ancestors for besides Yvonne? Yvonne, what would you ask for? Anybody else? Okay. All right, last thing, free thing for everyone. Free ebook, 7 Secrets to Supercharge Your Spell Work. What's your favorite nugget that you've gotten from my podcast, my Q&As, my books, my YouTube videos? You might have a nugget from me. I'm curious about that. Anyway, imagine going into a curiosity shop, going to the bookshelves in the back and finding a dusty old grimoire filled with the secrets that will take your spell work to the next level. My ebook, 7 Secrets to Supercharge Your Spell Work, is that arcane spell book. It's a true labor of love, something I've worked very hard to create along with ebook designer Rachel Gutek, just for you curious seekers. It is filled with practical tips to empower your spell work and get real results. It is free. Presented in a fun-to-read format with gorgeous old-time illustrations that will help you to smash through your anxiety and become the master magician you were meant to be. If you've ever wanted to find the key to making your magic spells really work, then you've found it. And it is normally $20. You could pay $20. You could buy it, or you could get it for free by joining this spell squad. So there's your freebie, everybody, your free illustrated ebook. So go to spellsquad.com or click the QR link and you can get that. All right, let's do our wrap up. Now we're going to look at the orders that have come in. The Love Witch is in the background here doing that. We're going to look at those orders that have come in and give you a last chance to order before we draw the winner for our giveaway. If you've purchased any of the spotlighted items during the live stream, you are eligible for the raffle. And this week we are giving away
I was about to say, right?
What are we giving away? A copy of What is Remembered Lives. Thank you to Llewellyn for giving us this book to give away. This is a wonderful Llewellyn book. So don't forget, if you're a member of the Coven and you make a purchase, you have an additional discount and an additional entry into the raffle if you purchase during the live stream. If you want to find out how to be a member of the Coven and get those extra perks, just go to coven.vip. Don't worry if you've already added this book to your order. We will credit you, so you will get it for free. You will not get 2 books. You will get the 1 book, unless you want 2 books. Maybe you want to give one to a friend. But otherwise, we'll just credit you for the one that you purchased. So if you already ordered this, don't worry. Before we go into that, would you like a tarot reading with me for $10? I also want to remind everyone that right after we say goodbye here, we'll be doing Tarot for Kindness. We'll be starting a new stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and I'll be joined by my friend Yvonne Subotin, who's here and awake because he's already commenting here. I'll be raising funds to feed seniors in Ukraine by doing live tarot readings, $10 per card. And it's perfect for a quick check-in, or if you just want a general reading, you can have a 2-card reading, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want. As to what's ahead, just join us right after the stream on the same platform you're watching now. So we'll be doing a different stream, but on the same platform. All right. So this week, the featured items are, I'm going to show you last chance. Oops. Where are we? I don't have those. I have all the wrong QR codes up here. Where do we go? Okay. I want the QR codes with there we go. We have the life-size black ceramic skull. Oh my gosh, that seems like an age ago that we were talking about that. The skull cast iron incense burner. The What is Remembered Lives book. Trypillian Slavic goddess idol magnet. The Day of the Dead felt skull charm pillow. The Motanka spirit doll making kit. The handmade Trypillian Slavic goddess. Horn altar offering bowl. And our beeswax ancestor candle. So our winner is, okay. I will let you say the winner. I'm going to let you say the winner, Onareo, because you love to say the winner. So here's our winner.
The winner, winner is
You
Sonia.
already blew it. Sonia.
Sonia,
Sonia,
yeah,
you won. Thank you so
congratulations.
much, Sonia. And if you didn't win this week, don't worry. There's next week. It's a great giveaway because we always have, maybe half dozen, 10 people, dozen people that purchase. So you have a good chance of winning. And if you are a Coven
Yeah.
member, you have twice the chances of winning. Congratulations, Sonia. You are our winner. So if you ordered the book, we'll credit you. If you didn't order it, we'll add it to your order. I want to thank everyone who joined us here at the Magical Mystery Marketplace. Thank you for your comments and questions. We love having you here, and we love hearing what you're doing with your magic. We look forward to next week, October 15th, when our topic will be moon magic, and my co-host will be Bee, the mysterious Bee of Bewitching Tarot. Oh my gosh, the elusive, mysterious, and mystical, magical Bee from Bewitching Tarot. Don't forget to join us here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, right after the live magic Q&A tea party. If you'd like to join me for the live magic Q&A tea party, it's free, it's fun, and takes place over Zoom 1 hour before the Magical Mystery Marketplace. All you have to do is join us is go to spellsquad.com and sign up. You will get your free ebook too. So that's 7 Secrets to Supercharge Your Spell Work, and you will get a link to access the free live magic Q&A. Sonia says, woohoo! Good job, Sonia. Oh my gosh, you guys. She says, thanks. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Sonia's so excited. This is awesome. It's amazing. Yay. I get excited when I win something too. So I can relate, man. I'd be like, woo, 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 saying all the things. So it's your lucky day. And the rest of you, thank you so much. It's your lucky day too. You get a discount. You get to hang out with us. I think that's a fun thing to do. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to be now on another stream, or I'm going to be on another stream with my friend Yvonne. Onareo is going to take off and have the rest of his day off. He comes in on his day off. But thank you so much. If you want a reading with Onareo or me, or spell work by Onareo or me, and any of the readers at the Parlour of Wonders, we do full readings and spell work. You can find us at parlourofwonders.com. Onareo will be happy to do spell work for you. He's got wonderful spell work, and he's good at spell casting. You're all good at spell casting, but you're good at spell casting. All right, you guys, have a great evening. We're going to meet Yvonne over at the other stream, and I'm going to be doing tarot readings for the next hour or so. All right, take care, everybody. Have a beautiful night. Thank you so much, Onareo. I'll see you at work tomorrow.
Thank you. See you
All
tomorrow.
Right, bye.
Bye, everybody.